Subscribe to our YouTube channel, News Now Nation, for in-depth interviews and press the bell icon so you do not miss any of our updates.
My greetings to everyone. Welcome to News Now Nation. I am Shruti and I'm back with another episode from our podcast series. And I'm especially excited today because our guest today is a very talented lady, Miss Khushbu Mattu. Khushbu is emblematic of the hardworking, independent Indian women who are relentlessly trying to carve out their own niche. Khushbu recently started a relief rehabilitation and research center in a rural area of J&K, and she has also been at the helm of a research group called India First Foundation that deals with media, gender, and behavioral research in Jammu and Kashmir. Khushbu, we welcome you to News Now Nation. Please tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. It feels really good when someone identifies and appreciates me for the social work part of me that uh, I have been a part of. And there is actually so much that I want to do in this aspect in social work that I'm really passionate about it. So if you ask me, who am I don't really have a perfect answer for you. But for starters, I'd like to say that I started my journey as a normal engineer in an MNC in Accenture. And then I went on to think what I really wanted, and I moved to media. I launched two radio stations in Jammu and in Srinagar, Radio Mirchi. And then I went on to run them for more than 5 years. When I realized that, I wanted to do a mid-career master's uh, in media practice or social change, basically, how can media improve the development aspects, the development sector of our country, then I decided to take a break from radio. And unfortunately, I couldn't go while I did crack all the interviews and all the admissions that I had hoped for. But I couldn't go because of two successive COVID seasons. And finally, in 2021, I joined Network 18 as a consultant with them, a consulting editor. And I've done a couple of events with them. I write articles. I'm also a columnist with them, and I regularly speak at different portals. I try to talk to a lot of women, especially women who are, uh, married, and women who think that there will be a career gap and who think that they can't do anything anymore. I try to talk more to them. I try to motivate them through my actions, through my words, that this is not the end of the world, and you can basically be happy, do everything you want to do, and still be happy, still have time for your family, still have time for your own self. That is it. And I also started my NGO just last year, but I have been associated with the social work for more than 4 years now. And the response to the NGO has been phenomenal. We have reached out to a lot of rural areas in J&K, tried to help a lot of rural middle school student girls, basically, who cannot continue their education due to various reasons. So I just want to make sure that anybody who starts school at least becomes a graduate. That is all I want.
Right.
So this is about me. Apart from that, I paint in free time, and I take care of. So you can say I'm a full-time mom, and in part-time I am in Network 18, and I am sometimes painting. That's it. And I'm also sleepy right now, which explains that feeding mothers go through a lot, and we, as a society, we just try to normalize it, that hota hai, everyone has to go through, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. So mothers do go through a lot in the first 2-3 years of raising a child, and we should all appreciate, especially the men. So yeah.
In fact, this was something that I was going to come up with in the later part of the interview. that you've been very vocal about your motherhood, and you recently also moved from JNK back to Mumbai, right? And how has that entire shift been like?
Um, as a shift, it has been very, very challenging because you reach a point in your life where you don't want to move. You're in your comfort zone.
Right.
You reach that point where you have that habit, where you develop that routine, and you're scared of leaving that routine. You're scared of leaving that place. You're scared of leaving those relationships. You're scared of leaving those friendships, leaving the comfort of the city where everyone knows you, of the place. So yeah, it was challenging that way, but I think it's always for the good to take a step ahead, even while your calf muscles might hurt if you take some few steps ahead, but you've got to take them ahead for your sake and your family's sake.
Right. So, Kushbu, this comfort zone thing that you're talking about, in fact, taking an example from your own life, you started off as you had a corporate career to start with, and then you made a switch, you moved to JNK. So, how was that change like? How did you decide? Because, a corporate career does give you a kind of security, and a lot of people tend to get so used to that kind of comfortable space that it's a
So
very
I did
switch.
I did move from Pune Pune back to J&K,
Hmm.
but I was still in corporate. Like I moved from Accenture to Radio Mirchi.
Okay.
So I didn't, I think I just had a gap of less than an year. I
Right.
again had a baby at that time. So
Right.
I didn't take a gap of more than an year. In fact, less than that.
Right.
And the switch that time was also very challenging because you move from a big city to a small city and you don't know mm, what is going to happen. But that uncertainty does something to you, it doesn't demotivate you. It allows you to work harder,
Right.
and you realize some aspects about your own self. You realize that there are parts of you that you didn't know were good. You didn't know that you could be so compassionate, you could be so thoughtful of certain things. So yeah, radio did. When I came back, I had no idea. When I went back to Jammu, I mean to
Mm.
J&K, I had no idea that I would become a journalist, that I would run radio, that I would be instrumental in bringing out a lot of voices and in turn also listening to a lot of stories. So I became a story person, and it transformed me because I became a story person. I entered social media because I realized there are a lot of stories that need help.
That's true. So while you were in Jammu Kashmir, you focused on a lot of other things as well. Like I mentioned earlier, that you started a relief rehabilitation center and also started your own research group. Could you tell us more about those things and what exactly drew you towards these causes?
Like I said, I was because I was bringing out stories on radio constantly. I was meeting a lot of people, and different shades of people, people who went through different kinds of struggle, and also succeeded. Some of them did not. So I realized that there could be more stories, more in media research that needed to come out from J&K. And J&K is not just a place that is known for terrorism. That's not just that about us. There is a lot more. There is a lot more than tourism and terrorism in J&K. So I wanted to highlight the human aspect of it, um, the humane aspect of it. Yeah.
Right. So, are you still working with the research group and the rehabilitation center, or has it taken a pause now that you've moved back to Maharashtra?
Uh, No, I transformed the IFF India First Foundation work into my NGO work.
Okay.
So we do take care of relief, rehabilitation, and research
Right.
in the NGO itself. So while we are taking care of rehabilitating schoolgirls,
Hmm.
in school education continuity, we're also doing a lot of research on various pockets in the state that require help, that require some there are some pockets that require electricity more than anything else. There are
Right.
some pockets where unorganized sector people live, and they require some special help. So that is happening side by side. The NGO takes care of relief, rehabilitation, and research in
Right. So, Khushbu, you told us that you got in touch with so many people when you went to JNK, and there were so many stories that you got a first-hand experience of looking at people living through their different stories. Anything in particular that stuck with you over these years?
a lot of these stories. I mean, and everyone I have met has inspired. I'm not joking. Everyone I've met in the studio has inspired me through some way or the other. When you're looking at your own life, when you're looking inwards, you find a lot of self insecurity. You
Hmm.
find a lot of flaws in you. You find that your problems are the biggest problems. When you meet these people, you realize that they handled it so well, and
Right.
so can you. So that triggered me. And there is this particular story, I think, that is on top of my mind, that there I particularly am fond of students who work really hard, not just in studies, who are very good, who are sharp, like they know, they have clarity of what they want to do in life. So I met two of these students in JNK, who are now in London and who were then in school. But they were so clear on what they wanted to do, and they have regularly been in touch with me, especially after I, secured admissions in the UK, and I was sort of mentoring them also. You can say more of motivating them to do something in their life and do good, and contribute more, and realize their own potential, basically, these two girls. And I'm
Right.
really proud of where they've landed. So their story of how they come from a humble background, and how they tried to gain clarity in school itself what they want to do, not wait for college to get over, not wait for the first job to set in, and then you think of one Sunday you sit and you think, oh, what I want to do with my life. They started to think early on, and I think that really motivated me. Apart from that, there were a lot of war widows, there were a lot of army uh, uh, personnel's wives who lost their husbands, and uh, who did run the household nicely. Some of them joined the service also. And I think everyone motivates you in some way or the other. Every day when you wake up, it is a monotonous life. But when you come to an office like this, when you come to a place like this where you listen to a new story every day, I think it's what I don't think you need anything more than that.
Right. That's really true. So, what is the one piece of advice that you'd like to give out to the young people, especially young girls out there who are, who are still trying to figure out what to do with their lives, who might not always have the backing that people generally have of their family or financial circumstances. So, for people who come from this particular strata and they are just all about trying to make a mark, what are the piece of advice that
I
you
would like to say that first of all, be a graduate, finish your studies. It is very important. Secondly, before you get married, settle down. Uh, settling down in Indian society means uh, settling down means getting married. But for me, settling down means you settle down your career, you settle down your finances. The first and the most important thing for any woman is to be financially independent. So try as much to be that as possible, because you will be able to do anything in life. You will be able to move ahead, take risks in career, or leave an abusive relationship only when you're financially stable. So that is what I want to tell every girl, that everything else can wait. Try to uh, you know be financially independent, secure a good job, and do not throw money at online shopping a lot. Retail shopping is not that good. I mean, too much of it is really bad. So it is
that
not like you get a salary on first and then you finish all of it on 10th. I mean, you buy a lot of clothes and all of this.
this is
So
actually a serious concern
for
for
not just your salary, it won't just be a dent in your finances. It will always be a dent on the climate, also on the future of the earth, because you have so many clothes, and a lot of these clothes do not, you just dump them, and there are mountains and mountains of clothes anywhere. So I think I'm deflecting from what you're saying, but what I basically want girls to do is to be financially secure.
Right. That's a very good piece of advice, Khushbu. Thank you. We are very grateful for your time, and I
Thank you.
definitely had a very good time talking to you, interacting with you, and it was very inspiring listening to your stories and your perspective towards life in general. And as a young girl myself, I think that it's definitely that something that I would like to do for myself as well. So
Sure, sure.
thank you.
Thank you so much for hosting me. I'm just a nobody trying to explain to people that they can become somebody, and they can be really grounded about it. That's it.
That's where the element of relatability comes in. I mean,
Yeah.
there are so many people out there in the world who have their own books, who have everything. Like, if you want to take inspiration, you can. But when somebody between, like, among you comes out with their own story and makes you feel like, okay, someone as usual, as ordinary as you can also do something so great and can take out time for endeavors and like yours. So yeah, that was really great. Thank you so much, Kushbu, and hope
Thank
to
you
be in touch
so
with you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.